In this episode, we'll present the near-death experience of Mr. Werner Stark, who visited the 7 levels of heaven. He will describe their beauty and return with messages and advice from the angels. Stay with us, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss upcoming episodes. The experiencer Mr. Werner Stark says, "In 1984, I went through an extraordinary experience. I had to go urgently to the hospital due to a diaphragm tear, which caused my stomach to push up into my chest cavity. The doctor immediately sent me to the operating room, informing me that it would be a complex surgery under general anesthesia. Later, the doctors told me that my lungs collapsed during the surgery, but in reality, I was watching everything from above, from the ceiling, through my soul. I saw myself lying on the operating table, and I was observing everything the doctors were saying. I accurately recounted to them what they said and did, describing how they opened my body, seeing it clearly but without feeling any pain, not because of the anesthesia, but because my soul simply wasn't in my body. It was calmly observing. After the surgery, my wife told me the doctors informed her that I had a cardiac arrest during the operation. When the surgery ended, I was transferred directly to the intensive care unit, where my life review began. I saw myself as a child learning to walk for the first time, and I witnessed every detail of my life with precision, including all the good and bad deeds I'd done. Everything was shown to me like a movie. Not just images, but with feelings as well. No one can convince me that what I saw was a dream. It was entirely real. When this live film ended, I felt extremely light. I was ready to die and leave this world. To my astonishment, I was now a transparent form without a body. I saw myself as a glowing spirit, like a small flame of light. Then, 7 channels of light appeared to me, resembling golden rays of sunlight. Each of these rays rose into the horizon, piercing through the darkness. In this vast darkness, I saw a large number of souls that seemed lost and unable to find a way to ascend. But the presence of the light allowed me to pass this level and move away from those souls. I wondered, where am I now? An angel who was with me reassured me and explained that the path of light was the direction toward the truth of existence. Then I began to rise upwards, but not through a tunnel as often described. I ascended directly and saw the 4 levels of heaven. I began to perceive new things. Through the light, I saw vast illuminated gardens, veiled in a gentle mist. In this place, there was no night. Darkness didn't exist. Everything beautiful and wonderful you could imagine was there, and there was no concept of cause and effect, or any form of hardship or fear. There was only light, warmth, and love everywhere. Everything was joyful and magnificent. I noticed that I now had a body of light and was floating in this space. I saw many beings in the form of radiant light shadows. At first I wondered, why are they silent? Why aren't they speaking? Then I realized that there was indeed communication, but it was happening silently. They exchanged thoughts through rays of light that emanated from them. Here on Earth, we call this form of communication telepathy. They communicated by sending beams of light, like radio waves on Earth. Suddenly, one of them directed a beam of light toward me. I felt as if I knew them, and as they approached, I realized it was my mother, who had passed away in 1950. She was right in front of me. I was shocked and said, "This is impossible." She looked young, beautiful, and completely healthy, perhaps around the age of 20 or 24. She was happy to see me and then said, "You won't stay here. You will return to Earth because you have a mission and things to learn." Then she added, The most important thing is to help people on Earth, and she disappeared. Afterward, another figure appeared before me, a majestic presence, possibly about 3 meters tall. He introduced himself as a wise angel and said to me, "Your mission is to help those who suffer from depression and psychological problems, and I will be by your side to guide you in doing so." Then he said, "You must tell people that the ego is merely an illusion, and they must transcend this illusion. Self-centeredness is the greatest obstacle every human faces, and forgiveness is essential. If we do not forgive, we will remain bound to one another and will never be free." He also explained to me that envy, jealousy, and hatred are emotions that must be completely eradicated, dismantled, and transcended. He added that anger is one of the most dangerous things, and those who lack patience and succumb to anger will make poor decisions. Anyone who focuses only on accumulating material possessions will fail to progress in the spiritual world. They must let go of this desire to be able to pass through the doors, which are the gates of heaven. What I remember is that there are 7 levels in heaven, and the first 4 levels are the lowest, where we learn. In these levels, our deeds are reviewed, and we learn from what is written in the book of our lives. For me, I stayed there only briefly during my visit. I advise everyone who does not wish to remain too long in those 4 lower levels to start now by letting go of stubbornness and rigidity in opinion, which prevents us from listening to the inner voice, the voice of our subconscious, which is also the voice of the guiding angel. People should try to follow its advice as much as they can, for it provides guidance that we cannot do without. Those who insist on ignoring this voice, the voice of conscience, will have to return to Earth repeatedly, always with the same group of souls, to learn and progress. What I learned is that angels oversee the testing of our souls, and if we make no progress, we will experience a deep feeling of distress and regret there, akin to a form of hell, although there are no flames. We cannot reach the next level without accepting the tests and learning to achieve the required growth. I also noticed that each of these 7 levels contains 7 sub-levels, and we must complete these sub-levels fully before advancing to a new level. This is the only path that leads to the light. Only then is one truly freed from all negative things, which is the ultimate freedom we all seek. When one reaches the light, they encounter breathtaking nature, far surpassing anything on earth. There, in heaven, souls shine like silver, and the colors and scents of nature are wonderfully vivid and beyond description. I saw flowers there in shapes I had never seen before, something enchanting to behold. At one point, I reached a place where I saw an immense, dazzling light, far greater than the light in the other levels. I remained in place, captivated by its magnificence, completely absorbed. The angel said to me, "This light that amazes you, do you want to know what it is?" I answered, "Yes." He told me that this light is the great sun, or the sun of all suns, much larger and more radiant than our sun or any other star. He explained that what radiates from it is not just light, but waves of creative energy. This great sun is the energy of the Creator, from which all planets and creatures draw their power and light. This divine light was incredibly magnificent, and it was the most awe-inspiring aspect of my journey. Then the angel said to me, "Now you can see the earth." When I looked, I saw it as just a tiny blue sphere in the vastness of space, and I realized how small our world truly is. He then said to me, "When you see someone weeping for a departed loved one, encourage them to pray for that person's soul, as prayer will benefit the soul far more than tears." He explained that it's natural for people to feel sorrow when someone leaves, as their absence leaves an emptiness in their lives, but it's better not to drown in grief. Excessive sorrow delays the soul's ascent and makes it harder for it to progress. When a soul is surrounded by loved ones steeped in prolonged mourning and sadness, it also feels sorrow. Souls would be happier if their loved ones could let go of their grief. I then approached the earth and saw my body lying on the hospital bed. My wife and daughter were standing on the left side of the bed, while my eldest son and his wife stood on the right. They were all in sadness. I understood what the angel wanted to explain to me, as it's truly hard for our souls to see their family in deep sorrow for them. At that moment, the angel said to me again, "Tell people this. Tell them not to be saddened." If you enjoyed this episode, don't hesitate to give it a like. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.